Greetings, everyone. I am Marcus Ramkisoon. I am the leader of the political party, the Trinidad Humanity Campaign. I welcome you all this evening to our 13th public meeting. Yes, we have done 12 public meetings before, and you can find them all on our YouTube channel at Trinidad Humanity Campaign under the live tab where all our videos are. We do hope you'd give some of them a chance, see what we're about, see what we stand for, and what kind of plans and policies we intend to bring to you in your electoral district. So, just finished yet another walkabout today. Today we did Kirep area and part of Champlain, which is within our electoral district, within the electoral district of St. Joseph Alcine. And, a lot of the comments I get, one of the biggest comments I get is, well, who are you all? We've never heard of you all. Are you a new party? You an independent? Oh, no. Well, I had to correct people, of course, and let them know that I've been an independent in 2010 in the general election. And the party was registered in 2014. We've contested the 2015 and 2020 general elections as a party. So we've been consistent from 2010. And we've also been the fourth largest party out of 19 contesting parties in the 2020 general election. So we're neither new nor are we small. The reason that you all haven't heard about us is because advertising is very expensive. We've done tons of morning editions and morning brews and TTT Morning Now programs, night news articles. We've got a ton of articles in all the major newspaper media. And we've done more than our share of social media advertising. However, to actually reach the majority of people in this country, you have to do things like television ads. And just to let you all know, these 1 hour broadcasts that you all are accustomed seeing in the night during election time and campaign period, right, where one of the large parties is telling you what they're about for an hour on television, cost about $250,000 plus for that 1 hour. If we were to put a 1-page, 1-day ad in the newspaper, either of the large newspapers, it's just about $55,000. Why would I take that money and spend it to show you all myself when we could come across the YouTube like we're doing now? We could come across the social media for nowhere near that kind of cost at all. We're talking about sometimes I spend a maximum of $50 on advertising, right? And usually it's a dollar a day, right, to try to reach you all. Right, but realistically, if we were to take that kind of campaign financing from individuals, we would take that money and buy ambulances for the health center, put it at the health center, and then go on the news and say, look, this is our campaign. Look what we've done. We've actually done something to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Not give you a jersey that you're not going to wear after election time. That cost us $50 to $100 to produce, but costs you thousands of dollars when you cannot get actual representation for the next 3 years. Right? All that is part of the mama guy for campaigning. A lot of people ask that question, do you have a jersey for me? No, we have no jersey for you. Right? This is the reason why. Because it will cost you more than it costs me when you cannot get real representation for the next number of years. Right? So don't fall for that train of people, you intelligent Trinidadians, we know what mama guy is. Right? You telling me you don't know when people come to discuss governance with our music, truck on music, that they mama guy in you? Come on. Right? Come better than that. Right? I know you are more intelligent than that. Yeah? So we're not on that level of campaigning. We would not take that money for advertising. The next big aspect about the financing is that you have to understand that the people who is giving these parties this kind of money, now I just said $250,000 for one hour broadcast. How many of them 1 hour broadcasts you've seen over the last month and change? How many jerseys do you think are printed at $50 to $100 per jersey when each general election and general election time out of the 41 constituencies, there are about 25,000 registered voters per 41 constituencies. How many jerseys do you think they print in? 25,000? 100,000? Sometimes a million jerseys printing. Sometimes it's 500,000 jerseys printing. Wasting money. And as I say, the people who's giving them this kind of money to go into campaigning, not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. This is where the corruption starts. Now, let me explain that aspect to you all very, very carefully, right? Because I've taken time to do it in one of the previous videos, but I think you all really need to understand this. When a political party is registered with the EDC, the legal affairs refuses to register you as an entity in legal affairs under the same name. right? And when you cannot register under legal affairs, the bank tells you you cannot get a bank account. They don't care about what EDC does, right? You have to be registered with legal affairs as an entity. So I asked the question, what happened? Now, this is the multiple bank managers in the country from multiple banking facilities. What is the regular practice? What did the two large parties do year in, year out when they collect campaign donations of, millions of dollars? What happens to that money? Where does it go? You know what they tell me, people? That money goes into those candidates' personal accounts. In a day and age where you cannot mix money from your business bank account with your personal bank account, that's called commingling, right? And you cannot do that. You have candidates who have registered parties being allowed to collect this large amount of financing into their personal accounts with no oversight as to how it's spent. So let me tell you how the kickbacks work and what this kickback is, because people seem to think, oh, when one party gets in there, they thief money from the treasury. Nobody takes money from the treasury. That's not how corruption works. What happens is projects are issued, tendered for, people tender for projects. The tender process is kept very hush-hush and quiet, right? And if one man bid, let's say $2 million, he tender for a project, they bypass him and they go to their party financer who tendered $20 million for the same project, right? This is where money in the corporations and the country is get eaten. And they give him the contract for the 20 million, and he come back now after he collect the money and he take a $5 million and donate it to campaign finances legally, because our laws don't account for that level of transparency that we need, nor does it cover how much can go in and how much. And again, this is why he given the $5 million. He given the $5 million because the project that he could have bid $2 million for, he bid 20. He give the candidate 5 at the end, so he really collect 15. And instead of collecting $2 million and maybe made $500,000 profit on it, he collect 15 million and made $14,500,000 profit on it. This is kickbacks. This is how corruption works. This is what needs to be stopped. If elected councillors, we at the THC will be fully aware of the tender process and who tender what. And yes, we will be minority councillors within the corporation and therefore can be outvoted on who gets the project, but we will know who tendered what and who did what, and we could go through the media after and come and say, look, this is what's going on. A man tendered 2 and they give the project for 10. Why we expend $8 million more of the taxpayers' money, right, on that person when the other person who bid 2 million just has qualified experience and have all the equipment necessary? What is going on? And somebody got to answer. We'll put them to court for it if we have to. But we need that official voice and capacity to be able to see those things and have access to those things to give you the transparency that you have been calling for all this time. We are the only party who's saying we're going to put the whole job on camera. This is the transparency we are committing to. Everything we see, you will see. Why? Because we're representing you. If we're representing you, then it's only logical that you should be aware of everything we're doing. Every monies that come in and expenditures that go out and all that stuff, you should be aware. You should have that ability to see, that ability to check. And no, we don't expect, we will want to put this to central government and we can do it, why you can't do it, but we don't expect them to do it so far. That is the extreme. Here's what we actually expect them to do. Every project, because we will be doing it and encouraging it from our corporations, because we will mandate that we want to see it, right? When our project goes for, let's say, for example, 10 million, we don't want the people to just hear our project was issued for 10 million. We want the contractor who received the project to scan every receipt, every invoice that he spent, and put it on a tab on the website, so that you and I know that contractor didn't spend $2,000 for a hammer when we spending $40 for the hammer and the hardware. Because that's the next aspect, because you want to know, of course, how one man could bid 2 million and one man could bid 20 million. The inflate cost somewhere. So all that could cut out the corruption. We need that level of transparency, and we need representation within the place, right, to get that level of transparency. Allow us at the THC to shake up governance in this country. Oh, you all will go and sit down there and do the same thing everybody else do, because everybody is saying the same thing. Well, everybody that you all see in has always been from 2 parties. This is the first opportunity you all have to have a third party within there, right? A whole different thing. We do have to respond to, vote no caucus with nobody, and ask no permission from no large party leadership, right? We are our own registered party and have been there for a long time, and we know how to operate in governance. We know how to get the things done that we need to get done. And believe me, I know how to cut through red tape and bureaucracy. Yeah? A lot of that nonsense is keep back our whole country and has caused a lot of mismanagement of the resources. And we can stop it, and we will stop it. Why will we go through all these things? One, we live here too. We are citizens just like you, right? If you want to see transparency, we want to see more transparency. If you spending money on taxes and you want to know where your tax dollar going, we want to know where our tax dollar going. If you feel insecure in your own homes because of the crime rate, we feel insecure in our own homes because of the crime rate. We are you. You are us. You need real representation. We need real representation. This is the only reason we put ourselves in this position, because it's definitely not easy to put yourself in public life. The ridicule that you face is ridiculous. I've heard it all, right? But my skin real thick, right? I could deal with it and deal with it properly. I know how to address those things from a better level, right? So give us the opportunity to shake up governance. And again, we're looking for your vote, and we're seeking your vote in 2025 for the next general election. We contested the last 3 general elections. It's the first LG we are contesting, right? And if we're seeking your vote in 2 years, let's be reasonable, right? If I'm mama guying you all this while, and we really intend to go in there and sit back and say, "Aye, we get the spot, we get the position, we could just sit back and relax now." If that's what I really intend to do, and I hear mama guying you, then at the very worst, the representation that you will get would be the same that you've been getting in the last 20 years. But in this case, we are seeking your vote in 2025 general election. And if we are seeking your vote in a general election, then definitely, if elected now as councillors, we have to work our tails off to prove to you that we worth our salt and worth your vote in the next 2 years. The things that we have to do in this 2 years has to show not just you in our electoral districts, but persons within the country that THC is the right party and the right representation for everyone in the country, to stop that corruption, to bring that transparency, to get the things that we really need. Look at food security. Look at this simple thing like food security, right? The whole region talking about food security a decade now. Millions spending in meeting and conferences and all these things, and what coming out of it? Well, I don't know what Trinidad doing, because what I see is agricultural lands continue to be taken away and converted into housing lands, good agricultural land, right? Then I look at a place like St. Vincent, a tiny little island, small like Tobago, and see that they supply in Trinidad with all our Edos, whilst being the world's largest supplier for arrowroot. You hear what I just said? The world's largest, tiny little country. We're so much bigger than them and have so much more arable land than them, and we just not taking this thing seriously. And I say everybody need to be farmers, but we need to increase the food production in the country. Look at what our governance has said. We're going to decrease the food import bill for beef, which is number 4 on the food import bill. We're going to decrease the food import bill for beef by we're going to stop bringing it from North America. We're going to start bringing it from Brazil. Like, them don't know what the meaning of import of it. To decrease the food import bill, you have to produce it here sustainably. You have to be able to produce it locally, not import it from somewhere else. What kind of look? So we have different plans. We're not just telling you we address it. We are saying that every public land within the corporation belongs to the corporation and is managed by the corporation. And instead of cleaning it up and just making it look nice for you, we will convert them all into agricultural premises, right? For both commercial and residential type things, right? So if you live in an apartment and you do have a yard and you want to do some sort of gardening for yourself in terms of food farming for both consumption and or small level sales, we will facilitate it. And if you're a farmer and you need commercial space because you want to do farming projects and you just don't have access to the land, we're real facilitating that, right? Because this is to add to the food security of the nation, right? We'll make sure all those projects done on an organic level. We'll teach the farmers if they don't know. We'll bring in the agronomists. We have agronomist friends. We have people within our party, right? Members, not people that are running, but members of the party that are agronomists. They will come in and teach for free, right? And show people how to do it. Then we'll set up an organic food market, right? Let the wider population come in and buy foods and realize what a tomato is supposed to taste like when they don't have all these harmful pesticides and chemicals. Because the thing is, I'm not against pesticides and chemicals per se, but the types and brands that we use in this country are types and brands that have been banned in developed countries because they've been proven to affect both cancer, to bring on cancer, and to manipulate your DNA. But we're using them here because they're cheap. I have constantly said, and people have said, wait, what? I have consistently said that it may actually be better and healthier to eat fried chicken in this country every day than to be a vegetarian surviving on local produced goods in this country, because the type of pesticides and chemicals being used in commercial farming in this country are very hazardous to your health. Go check it out. Look, your example, Roundup. Company came out and said, Big Monsanto came out and said, no. Nothing gonna happen. This one going to your genes and stuff. 10 years later, boom, it's in your DNA. Right? You're looking at your DNA and they're seeing little roundups inside it. Right? That's your layman's terms for it. I go into the details of it. Right? And most of the countries in the world ban it. Go on the shelf in Trinidad. Go and watch the commercial farmers what they're using. Right? And only eating these tomatoes. And governance just doesn't seem to be aware or care that is a thing. Whereas that is their job. That is the core. There are many things to do in terms of management of resources, management of our country, management of the finances and all that. Right? But the core aspect of governance is maintenance of public health and maintenance of public safety. You feel healthy? You feel safe? I'm sorry to be a little loud, but it gets to me. Because again, I live here too. I am a citizen too. And I don't feel safe. And as a man will go through the ghetto, right? I have no problem, right? I will deal with people on all levels. I don't fear people. But home invasions where my family is and all these things, I have to be wary of those things just like you. And somebody has to get in there to stop it and to make a change. This is what we aim to do. Look at our security plans. Listen, in fact, before I tell you our security plans, a young man called me yesterday from one of our Burgesses, one of my Burgesses called a young man, 22 years old, right, educated. He said, this is the second time I voted, and I voted in 2020. I didn't see you all. I received your flyer in my mailbox, and your plans make a lot of sense. I'm a little confused because one of the candidates passed. I'm not going to say which one, but one of the candidates passed in front of my house earlier today. This is story telling me, and I asked the person what they intend to do about crime, and the rhetoric was something to do with either, because again, I don't want to call which party it is, either stand your ground law or we against stand your ground law. And he had to ask, but that's central governance stuff. No councillor changing no law. That's not legislators, right? So what are you all going to do from the corporation level? He asked, a very intelligent young man. He reached the point in the end of the conversation. I invited him to come on screen for the party, right? That's where it reached, right? What are you going to do for the corporation? What are you going to do for my area in crime? And he said the councillor, like the candidate, like they didn't know what they had to try to avoid the question because they had to repeat what they said about the same central governance issues. And even some of the smaller parties, unfortunately, because I support all small parties, I'm hearing plans for central governance, things that you cannot address at the corporation level. I have not found any candidate yet put forward crime reduction plans for the community outside of we'll bring in more municipal officers. You ever see a municipal police officer? When last you see a municipal police officer? I please, somebody comment and tell me, because I haven't. Right? And this idea of using municipal officers for school security, you think MT has gone and lost the contract? You and central government to take away that contract? No. Right? So don't get tired up with all this rhetoric and mama guy that just talk. Right? Look at the kind of security plans we have, the crime reduction plans. We intend to put, first of all, the easiest thing, work with the police station to establish better patrols, more routes, better patrol times, increase the visibility. Easy. Here, this one. 1,000 cameras in your district. 1,000 cameras, one on every corner, monitored in an operation center at the police station that is responsible for your district. So like my district of Valsay and St. Joseph Police Station is responsible for the entire electoral district. Outfit them with a monitoring station, right? And set up the camera system. You know how much it's going to cost? Call somebody. Now, I was saying less than $1 million for the 1,000 cameras. A camera guy called me and talked to me and told me, look, this camera you could get for that money. But if you want the real good camera, the real McCoy, it could cost this kind of money. So I'm changing my estimate a little bit now. It's costing a little under $2 million TT dollars to have the best cameras out there and set up the what yes, I did say 2 million, not 20 million. Why didn't I say 20 million? because 20 million is what you would see from inflated costs from other parties, as I explained earlier with how inflated cost and corruption works. If, for those of you who missed it, please go back in the video afterwards and see I explain the full way how kickbacks is work. Right, something everybody needs to know. Yeah. So 2 million TT, and you would have a camera on every corner to be able to encourage better evidence collection and better detection. And what that has done, and through all research and practice around the world, is deter serious crime. Look, when you're watching plenty movies, right, action movies, and then you always see England, and you can't go nowhere in England without being seen by a camera enough in London, right? What, you think there was always so? In London had a real crime, and they set up the camera system, and boom, they cut it. Right? So this is what we need. We need action, real plans to work. What's that, Marcus? The police are good. Well, I can tell you a lot of the police good, but yes, there are some elements, as our Prime Minister said the other day, surprising during an election time, our Prime Minister would come out and, kind of put down the police services. But yeah, everything welcome in election time, apparently. Right? But while we asking the police to monitor, because remember they're asking for these resources a long time, so we're giving them what they asked for, right? While we have them reducing crime by monitoring, we are also looking to purchase the body cameras and the GPS systems and vehicle cameras for the police and the vehicles at the stations, at the respective stations in the electoral districts if elected, right? So whilst they reducing crime and monitoring crime, somebody monitoring them one time, right? So we check in on everything is a holistic approach. You understand? And we are buying 3 cameras and 1 charger, like what apparently happened when central government did it last time, and the police stopped using it because we can't charge it. Oh gosh, buy 2 cameras and 2 charger for each one, huh? Oh, sorry. You know why that has happened? Because whereas each one might cost you $500, if you went and buy it for the government, they could give one of the finance of the project, and he charge us, the people, $5,000 for it. And that is what we intend to cut. That is what we intend to see all the tenders that are going through our corporation and cut. Right? Make sure we get value for the money, because out of the $120 million Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation has to spend on projects every year. Instead of they take that $120 million and get, let me say, $62 million projects out there, they end up getting $620 million projects. And them same $20 million projects could have been done for the $2 million. That is where the money is getting eaten up. That is why when they come and say after by year 2, it has no more money, because them fines and finances get all the projects for inflated cost already. That is what we intend to put our stop to. We will cut it out and make sure our entire corporation run clean, and then we will go through the media and try to ask the question if we could show this level of transparency, showing you the entire job on video, ensuring that every receipt and invoice is scanned by the contractors, so we know they didn't pay the $2,000 for the hammer, they already paid the $40, and we could do all this through our little position in the corporation. Why can't you in other corporations, and why can't you in central government? And embarrass them and force their hand to do the right thing. We use us, right, to put them into that position to encourage better transparency and better governance for all of us. Who knows, they might really get the message, and before 2025, they might start to buck up, knowing that a general election coming, and we will all get a better level of governance for it. Look at some of the projects that they're talking about now during this election time. The Miaro Highway for $70 million. That is a great deal. Who want to bet that cost go up like 3 or 4 times after the election? Because that's how it go. That's what they do. The mama guy, right? And then tell you after, oops, we didn't know, but it inflate. Remember Turuba Stadium? $1 billion stadium. Go and see, go online and check out Costa stadiums. Check out what Qatar paid for some of their best quality stadiums that they put up. Check out what Las Vegas is paying for some of their things. Check out some of the costs now and see and ask yourself, wait, why we pay $1 billion TT for this when, what is that, 150 million US? When these people getting what for 150 million US? How we only get this? Ask the question. Did you all know that we have the second largest asphalt reserve in the world? Some people might say the largest. I think they tell us that down on the picture. My research shows it's the second largest. I think the largest is in Indonesia. Do you know that 25%, no less than 1/4 of the world's roads were built using asphalt from little old Trinidad and Tobago? Where the money from that? Where's the transparency in the accounting process for that? One of the biggest resources we have, we keep talking about gas and oil. One of the biggest resources we have. And there's no real transparency and accountability. We just sit back and take it. Nobody asks the question. Nobody says, no, we need to do it. Listen, as a counselor in Tanapuna, you feel my ass cat, sorry. Sorry, I apologize. I don't use that, sorry. My apologies. You feel my tail can go down there to Labrie, right? And ask the question and pose the question that I have been an elected official in Tanapuna, and I'm asking the question I want to know. I could put through Freedom of Information Act request, right? I could put it through courts, but I need the official voice to be louder. Because we've tried. We are political activists in this party, and we've done a lot, right? Look at the cannabis laws, right? We've been activists for that and promoting the right thing, folks. Not what the government has done by allowing this madness to happen with the cannabis in the country. Because right now it's wild. Everybody growing, everybody selling, right? You go on Instagram, you see sponsored ads for edibles and stuff where your children can get. No public education has been done whatsoever, in as much as they promised it over and over. A school called me and asked me to come to give the public education. I told them to just confirm with the ministry first, and the ministry blanked them a couple of years ago, right? Where's the responsibility there, right? This is not what I advocated for. I wrote a proper legislative system, proper laws for both the decriminalization and the medical system, which is to come, and a lot of stuff was twisted by this government, right? So don't think that I just free for all. No, but my point is, if I was able to take a manifesto commitment from our 2010 and 2015 manifesto, which was the decriminalization of cannabis, for all the great reasons that our former AG has come out and said to you all, decrease the issue, decrease the caseload in the courts, free up the time for the police, free up the time for the forensics, stop the youths from getting locked up for a joint and getting in a rut where they can't get no tertiary education and no jobs. Everything he said is from a paper I write, this is what I've been saying since 2008. All of these points is on a paper I write that they read it. Understand? And we were able to fulfill that manifesto commitment ourselves by lobbying and getting it done through the government. I even, because of my qualifications, got the job to write the laws. And before I got the job, because it was so hard, because Trinidad, these government people just feel like these movie stars. So I had to write officially and go through all official means to request an interview. I had to go unofficially and go to people's families to tell them, hey, ask this one if I could get an interview. And I had to go on the 3 television station and say, what are we teaching our children if we tell them study hard in a particular field, and when that job comes up in that field, we give it to a foreigner. And if I became the most qualified person in the region in it, one of the most qualified in the world, right? And I am seeking the job, and bring me on for an interview, right? And if I'm overqualified, I will do the job for free. Because I said that on television, when I did get the job, I took the job for free. They tried to pay me 100 times through Attorney General's office. You could ask him, right? And I kept refusing because I said on television I would do it for free. I stick to my word. A $3 million job, easy. Look, let me show you. Let me show you all quick. Look, this is one of 3 books that I write, right? All this is the laws. Look, all this is the laws, right, that I have written, right? And set it out. $3 million job, easy. You know what a consultant, you know what you pay consultants? Go and check, right? And I refuse the money. That's not what I'm about. I can't be bought, right? And that's a service job. I do it free for the people in my country. So if I can make such changes and I could fulfill manifesto commitments before ever being elected into any position, what do you all think we at the THC can do if elected? You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. You might look at our crime plans and say, nah, boy, we are ready for that yet. You ain't ready for it yet? Well, we hope that it don't reach home for you to be ready for it. Right? Because everybody being affected now. Right? And one of my walks today, a couple gentlemen in one of the larger party strongholds said, no, we don't want to fly on them. We okay. We know who we're voting for already. Say, okay, well, if you're all satisfied with what you get in the last 20 years and you're satisfied with the continuing increasing crime rate, great. Said, yeah, I'm satisfied. I said, okay, cool. I was sad, disappointed at that. Because I mean, me that individual may have been very, very fortunate that crime hasn't reached anywhere near him yet. But I can see that from where he living, but he may be very fortunate. And I just, it's sad. I mean, people have to wait until it reaches too close to home to realize, oh, somebody needs to do something better. And that's we're in a sad situation from that point on. So again, no one in this arena, in this LG political arena, in my understanding has been be able to bring serious crime reduction plans for the at the corporation level, at the council level, to show you what they can do in your electoral district. We have, and we put in forward plans that will heavily deter serious crime, right? To a point you might even see it. Forget home invasions. That might be a thing in the past then in our electoral districts, right? And that's just a first step. It's just a first step. The idea is to put it forward. And again, when we put the cost forward at the actual cost, then we could question central government as to why the other projects at the same tune has cost so much more. And if it's so cheap, why they can't do it for every electoral district in the country. This is the point, to get better governance for us all, to increase our public safety for all of us. This is the point. A watchdog rule, if you will, right? One who could bark and bite. Somebody asked me if I could really bite today. I could bite, right? Because the government and the opposition knows my integrity from many different things, right? I can stand and say without fear of any contradiction, right, that my integrity has never been broken. I'm a very principled person, right? And I cannot be bought. This is who I am, and this is why I'm aiming for leadership in the country. This is why I'm trying to educate myself more. As I said, I have my bachelor's and my master's degree already, and I'm a few months away from finishing my MBA and master's of project management, because the job is management, right? Central and local governance, right? And I'm a PhD student at UTT in criminology, because a prime minister, if I'm so fortunate to be elected to that position one day, has to sit in the national security, as the head of the National Security Council. Shouldn't they know something about crime? Right after that, I'm doing a PhD in governance and public policy, because this is what I aim for: good governance, and to leave a legacy of myself and my party, to say, well, look, when that party had the position of management, not had the position of power, you all smart enough to know that if somebody come and say, vote we into power, you all don't know yet that means the power hungry people. Come now, man. They're telling you. The position is management, and we're asking you, the people, to hire us through election. That is all it is, That is what it is, because you, the taxpayers, we, the taxpayers, pay and we elect the salaries, all of us. So we are hiring people every few years. Shouldn't you know more about the people that you're hiring? Shouldn't you find out the exact plans? If you're hiring somebody for a business, aren't you going to ask them in detail about, whatever the business is, if they understand it, how they're going to operate it, and all these things? So you're just going to hire a man because he tell you, I could do that. Well, if that is the case, you know the problems that has come from that. And we've seen it. We've seen it. Crime keeps going up. Have to talk about it, because we are the only ones that have the plan. Right? Food security. We have the plan. We've told you, convert all the lands into commercial spaces. And then most of the other parties has used that agriculture plans to say, that will create the job security. That is what will create the jobs of the youths. And the youths who in crime, and they go come out of crime and go and dig the land and plant vegetables and fruits. Not everybody agriculturally minded. Agriculture have a lot of money if you're willing to put in the hard work, right? But not everybody is think like that. Most of the youths are more entrepreneurially minded these days. They have ideas, right? They have business ideas that they want to forward, right? And they need some financing to start, at least. So what we're doing in job creation is exactly that. When people have ideas, not be youths, it could be older people too, no problem, right? And you have an idea for a business. First of all, you need a proper business plan. We are qualified to do the plan for you. We are charging you, sometimes it costs up to $100,000 to build a proper business plan. We are charging you a cent. You are our burgesses. We will do it for you for free, right? And make sure you have all the documents you need, and guide you to apply for a government grant or loan. And if you cannot get that government grant or loan for whatever reason, and your project has merit, we determine it has merit for our electoral district, we would set up a program within the corporation to finance your project as a zero interest loan. When you become profitable, you will pay us back in increments, but we don't know interest. We want you to be successful. Isn't that better than a 10 days work, people? You want to clean drain and cut grass for the rest of your life? I ain't saying that nobody must do that, but jobs should be to help people build their livelihood, something that can help them support themselves and a family. You can't tell me that every so often a 10 days work for a man is enough. That is why it's encourage crime and hustling, right? Because they have people that don't have enough. They have people that are dissatisfied. They have people in very, very, very low standard and quality of living, right? All these things have to be increased. Now, I can't address the entire country's needs from the local government perspective if elected, but I can very well address whatever of those needs exist in my electoral district and lead by example. Do it all within the electoral district. Use the media, use the social media, and show what we're doing. And push it towards the other corporations and central government through the media. Why you are not doing this? What's going on? Well, we alone walking? Because again, normally I have people from two large parties who have to respond to the leadership of those two parties. They can't move a muscle without the leadership saying yes or no, right? We don't have that. We have the own party. We could do what we want. We could pull up the socks of both the large parties and ensure that all of us get better value for our money at the corporation level at the very least. And listen now, folks. Then central government, as a councillor, if elected councillor, right? Central government put out a project and say, right, the Chinese say $200 million to build this flyover. I could send, as a council, I could send the specs and ask for a RFP, a request for proposal from a company somewhere else, and see if they bid something like less, 100 million, half. And if that is the case, then we could go through the media again. As a councillor in one corporation, I could go through the media and show what central government doing. I will have a more official capacity, right? Now, those things is more investigative processes will be more of something I'll try from the side, but I intend to do it because my whole goal is to get more transparency and to get better governance. We know the places that mismanagement happening. We're such a wealthy country, 24 billion US dollars a year GDP. 24 billion. A lot of money is flowed through this country, and a few is take a lot of it, and the majority is get the crumbs. Right? And we don't want that. We want it to be equal for everybody. Everybody should have an equal access and share and right. And if the mismanagement can stop, right, then we don't pay these inflated costs for these contracts. We'd have a lot more money to do projects with and build the country for all of us. It is get to me sometimes. I walking through Real Spring today. I heard one of the candidates had a mic car. They wasn't there. This is the voice of and a recording playing over and over. And come out and vote on Monday. And when Monday morning reach, wake up, pray, eat something, and come out and cast your vote for. And then we'll all be able to say on election night, let's just call it that. Right? And better roads and better governance and better drains. That's the three things they're talking about. You was all the time, your parties, both of them parties had the options for the longest while. What it was? They sleeping? What gonna be different in the next few years? Somebody learn something different? Just because there's a new face for council, you think it's a different party? What's going on? Right? What's really going on? What would make you think as an elected that, okay, I didn't get nothing for the last few years done in my area to make me feel like my councillor is actually working for me? Right? But I either going to vote the same councillor or the next one from the next party who was there a few years before, and I still didn't get nothing done in my community. When I say get something, I don't mean for you. I mean done publicly for your community. Right? Where's the back and forth thing? What, you don't have nobody else? 10 parties contesting this election, 6 independents. We here since 2010 consistently. You ever hear me come out on TV and say anything like, oh, I'm so depressed, I'm never doing this again, like some of those other leaders of some parties? No. We remain undaunted, right? Win or lose, right? It don't make a difference to us. We continue to try because it's better to try and fail than fail to try. We live by that motto. I live by that motto, right? No time in my life will there be a time for me to sit back and say, I wonder if I did this, what would have happened? No, I did it. Do it now, so I don't wonder. I can know later on what would have happened. I would have done it now. So again, folks, right? Thank you, Mr. Marcelin, for your comments here. I think you're the first set of comments we've gotten since we started doing our public meetings, right? And this was way back when we were talking just now about, my fault for missing it, I apologize. When we were talking about the food security plans and the agriculture plans, and I was talking about the pesticides that are being used now on fruits and vegetables grown in Trinidad that are banned in other countries, right? And I see a question from the gentleman, is the organizational diagram, I don't call parties names, as you may have noticed, right? We do campaign like that, right? We try not to be derogatory in any way. But this question is referring to a particular party, and he's asking if the organizational diagram of that party is touting the way it is touting as the way it is, and is that accurate? Here's the organizational diagram of that party. outing as the way it is. Mr. Marcelin, I don't really understand your question. Do you mean in regards was this question back in regards to pesticides? Because I think that's what confusing. I have a feeling it might be something else. So if you're still listening and you're still tuned in here, do comment again and clarify that last question. I'll answer for you while we're on the broadcast. Yeah. So yeah, folks, these are the things that we intend to bring. Job creation, like no other party talks about. Food security that every other party talks about, but we're not actually seeing. But we'll actually get it done because this is what if we don't do that, what we do, right? Transparency on a level that you've never seen from any other party and never heard from any other governance structure in the world. No person in governance has ever ventured to say we will put our whole jobs on camera. Go look it up, right? We intend to do something like this. I mean, how much more transparency can you get, right? Because again, it's all about lead by example. And our crime reduction plans, I ask you, where have you heard that from our local government candidates or any of our central government candidates in the 2020, 2015, or 2010 election? And are they sensible? You're welcome to let us know at any point in time, right? Are they sensible? They make sense. You think these things will work? Because these are not our ingenious plans, These are plans that come from the people. I was a voluntary radio talk show host way back in 2009. One of the things that encouraged me to contest elections in the first place, and the program I was on was called Nayabingi and Dr. Green, Down to the Earth, right? I was Dr. Green, that nickname. And it was a 3-hour program on Sundays dealing with issues and solutions in the country. And, we were on for more than a year, so we got on this 3-hour program, so we had more than enough time to cover tons of issues happening in the country, and the people has the solutions. The everyday man on the street has the solutions. Why aren't the people who we elect to manage, who we hire to manage our affairs and resources, why they don't have the solution? And if everybody seems to have the solution and they don't seem to, why are they not implementing it? Is there some other reason that we're not putting things in place to reduce crime properly? Have you seen something done? Tell me, because I only see one or two things with this. Now talking about the veterinary officers, which to me, we've had again on our manifesto 2010, 15, and 20, polygraph for all police, customs, what you call them, Coast Guard, right? And all elected representatives. 6 months, every 6 months you do a polygraph test. We are saying use it to hire and fire anybody, but use it to be aware of what's going on, right? And use it to keep a better eye on those public officers like the police and Coast Guard and so forth and customs, right? So you either transfer them or you make them wear body cameras all the time and all these things, right? If it is that they do poly and not polygraph. And let us learn a little more about those elected representatives whom are not supposed to be engaging in any mismanagement of public resources or corruption in public life. And let's find out if they have, right? I hear one of the popular, I'll call him popular, right, candidates at this election came out and said, oh, I challenged the Prime Minister to a polygraph and I could do one with him and all that. We had it on our read. Look at on Facebook 2010, 2015, and 2020 manifesto. Polygraph for officers, polygraph for all elected officials. I guess the gentleman may have, everybody could come up with these ideas, but maybe he read our manifestos. I don't know, right? But we've been saying it for a long time and we continue to say it. All elected officials should be polygraphed every 6 months, and all public security officers and public inspection officers should be polygraphed every 6 months. Who talking this? Who else talking this? All right, okay. Everybody is talk and they don't do nothing when they get. Who else talk this ever? Come on. You all have an opportunity for real governance this time, right? We have an opportunity for real governance this time if you all elect your THC candidates. Simply. We've asked you, we've sent around our flyers, right? We have a little flyer here with a mini manifesto inside, right? All those points I listed: crime reduction, transparency, food security, job creation and general maintenance. And we have a number. We've told you about the party in the back. We've told you all about myself and all my qualifications in the back. And we have a number of little points reminding you in the back. This is a local government election. There's no swinging up the vote. The current government stayed in management until 2025, right? There's no changing of the government. You're not going to undermine your party or your favorite party, whatever you want to call it, if you put and elect someone else into the position this time. All you're doing is making a statement to the two large parties and saying that, listen, we realize that you are doing a not so great a job, and we're sending a message to you in this local government election that we're willing to put somebody else if you continue to do your job poorly. And at the very least, folks, that message may go across, and before general election in 2025, we might see both of those parties bucking up and actually doing a better job. And we all will benefit from it. Because governance affects every aspect of your life. From the water that you drink to the water that you're flushing in the toilet, go straight up to whether you can and how much you can afford to travel, right? To the job type that you get, to the education facility. So everything comes back to governance. Every aspect of your life. So the people who say, we don't vote, we don't meddle up in that. It's meddling up with you. I just want you to know that. It's meddling up with everything that you do. I just wish that people realize the seriousness of governance and what it's really about. We don't teach it in the schools. On our manifestos for general elections, by the way, we have all that to add to school curriculums, and then we change up the whole education, or we propose to change the whole education structure, right? I wouldn't go into those things now, but please read it. I think you'll like it, Smarter, sensible, reasonable options, right? Look, one of the ministers came out recently and talked about the huge traffic congestion problem. When we were able to see through the pandemic and through work from home mandates, right? Through the public service, we were able to see that exactly how that system could decrease that traffic congestion, and we were able to see lots. I mean, not everybody, a KFC worker cannot go and work from home because who wouldn't serve your chicken, right? But for those that have office jobs and desk jobs and all these things, yeah, they can work from home. We live in an age of technology now. We could have. You want to reduce the traffic, put back the work from home mandate, so set it up with the people who can work from home and who willing to work from home. Maybe the children going to school closer to home than coming all the way in. All these things, I mean, yes, you could decentralize Port of Spain and put things in different places, right? Ministries or public service departments with large amounts of workers, put them in different places to ease it up. Sure, you could do that, right? But there's many options, and talking about it and not actually doing anything. Talking about we bring in 300 electric buses, mind you, all the electricity created from natural gas. So it's not like we're using wave power or wind power or something renewable. We're using non-renewable resources to create the electricity, right? So it's a kind of mama guy in itself. Mind you, though, the US doing the same thing. A lot of the electricity is still come from coal and diesel, right? So it's not like it's only us. Don't But be careful that what you're thinking. Oh, I want to save my environment by buying an electric car. Yeah, but where the electricity coming from? And look, we're an island. We're surrounded by ocean. We can't put wave generators in yet. We're an island. We have a lot of breeze. We can't put some wind generation in yet. We're an island in the Caribbean, in the tropic zone. We have a lot of sun, to the point where some of the hottest days of the year, the other day on the ground and stuff, 41 to 51 degrees in the ambient temperature around, right? As if you stand up in the middle of the pavement. We can't put a solar system. We can't put a molten rock system where you see all the mirrors in a big circle, the pole in the center, and focus the sunlight into there, and it heats up the stones inside, and that heat alone is converted. In Jerusalem and Israel and those places using those, not Jerusalem, sorry, Israel and those countries using those types of technologies. We have more sunlight than them. We have more resources, natural resources. We have more wind. We have more waves. We have more sunlight, and nobody putting in this type of system. Come on. That every few years we go to the representatives go to big meetings all over the world and talk. Yes, climate change. Yes, we will do this. Yes, renewable resources. I'm confused. God, Mama Guy, and we already in the country. Mama Guy, yes, in the world too. Do something. And what's the strange thing? If either the two large parties, especially the one that is in governance right now, were to really put just one or two of these plans into effect in the smallest scale possible. Reduce crime by a little bit. Let me see less than one murder a day. It has 7 days for the week. Let me see 5 instead of 10 or 5 instead of 7. We're talking one a day, because it's more than one a day, right? But let me say it's one a day. Let me see 5. Drop it a little bit is what I said. You know that those parties our types of parties wouldn't stand a chance to win an election against them. But for the life of them, they refuse to do anything reasonable and sensible. Imagine the families of one of our ministers were attacked in their home, not attacked, but were held up by their home the other day in the wealthiest part of the country. And nobody is saying, well, man is saying, oh, they reach home yet. They reach home, let me do something. Oh gosh, I'm disappointed, eh? My brother, if you watch my videos, I don't think you do. But if you do, I'm disappointed. Because it reached home by you. And you still not standing up and saying, well, look, something had to be done now. Why? I don't understand that. I don't understand that logic. I mean, okay, if it reach from my end, is one of those self-centered people that, I do. That affected me because I didn't experience it. Okay, now it reach home. Come on. Nothing being done. No reason, no sensibility. And we have the resources and we have the finances in the country, and it's just the people that manage it can't seem to manage it well. And again, I remind you of the point. If you have a business, a country is supposed to be run like a business. You're supposed to bring in more revenue than you expend. When you have surplus budgets, you're supposed to issue a rebate check to all tax-paying citizens. When last you see surplus in Trinidad? When last you get a rebate check after you pay taxes at the end of the year, say, right, I give back $1,000. When last? But yet still we have a central bank, Minister of Finance will you that is bring books down to zero on both sides. It's amazing. Amazing. So we have the resources. Let's get the better management for it. Let's put things in place to gosh, people. I mean, sometimes I really get me. I mean, but to hear people still talk about either of these two large parties who have both had more than enough opportunity in the past to make real positive changes, to put things in a way where none of our small parties will even have a chance to contest them because they actually did something big for the country at some level. And nobody is doing it. Everybody only studying this self and their friends. That had to stop, man. That needs to stop. Imagine a PM could come out and say the only way to help the poor is to get the rich richer so they could provide more jobs to the poor. Wow. Wow. So you have a chance this election. You have a choice. You have a different option. We are not the 100 faces that have come before you. We are a third party. We are not the two parties with all those faces before. We are a whole different party. We have no mandate to report to any of these two large parties. We are our own entity, and we are here for all of us. All of us as citizens need better representation. That is what we are here for. We ask you, look in your mailbox and see if you find our flyer. If you do, please read. Check and see if you find our plans and policies sensible. If you have any questions, my number is there. Call us anytime, 462-8870, 462-8870. Anytime, 24/7, I here for you. All right? Before the election, if elected. If I'm not elected, you can only call me anytime. Right? If you don't have the flyers in your mailbox, please see our Facebook page. All the information is there. The full flyer from each of our candidates is there for their respective districts, right? And it's showing you exactly what we intend to bring and exactly how we intend to do things. Not we go do this and we go do that, and not explain to you how we creating the jobs, how we affecting the food security, and how we reducing crime. Just tell you we could do it, especially after having a chance to do it before and haven't done a thing about it to really make a difference. Make a statement in this election. Come August 14, come Monday, right? If you support what we say, if you think that what we are saying is sensible and you realize, listen, I can make a statement to the two large parties this election, not swinging no vote, not all those things that lead back to the inevitable two-party system, which we are not for anyway, but we not go in that direction. You have an opportunity to put somebody into this position of management finally that can work for you and work for all of us, to bring this transparency, to bring this accountability, to hold those accountable that need to be held accountable, right? And to bring better value for our money and better management of our resources. Ours, all of ours. Start realizing who you are. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you are owners of this country. And because all 1.5 million of us cannot manage at the same time, every few years we hire, through electing, a team of managers. Do better. Seek more information from your potential candidates that you have to hire, who is going to manage your public resources and monies for the next few years. $200-something million into Napuna Piako Regional Corporation a year, with 16 councillors and 4 aldermen. Those 20 people managing that money. Right? Figure out who those candidates are. Can they manage that money? Can they read and write technical papers? Can they show transparency and accountability? Will they? Will they actually do the job for you? Are they seeking your vote in a general election in 2 years? Will they be the hardest working candidates because of something like that? At the very least, all these points to consider. And if you support us, then we ask you to come out and cast your vote and exercise your civic right. Because staying home is like giving it back to the two large entities, because they have their core supporters and they will come with their maxis and pick up people and carry them to vote. Right? Which I don't even know if it's allowed, but that seems to be common practice. Right? So if you support us, come out and vote and make that statement. Show that you are looking for a change. Show that you are serious about getting change in your country. Show that you're not mentally chained into this brainwashed program of a two-party system and one color or another, or this is my team and that is my team, because it's not football, it's not a sport, it is governance, it is serious business, right? It is something that people should not be coming around you with a lot of music and dancing and partying, because it's this entertaining and entertainment at campaign time is ridiculous. That should be the first sign that a man again. Put a stop to it, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Utilize your intelligence, right? And put a stop to it and demand better. And show that you are demanding better. Tomorrow evening, we'll be here once again, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. because our walkabout's finished right as it gets dark. And tomorrow is the last day for our walkabout because nobody looks in the mailboxes on Sunday, right? Unless it spills over and we go complete. We have all of St. Joseph tomorrow. St. Joseph, look out for me tomorrow, right? We have 1 or 2 little areas on the side of Kirab there left. But St. Joseph, that's what we're doing. And on the right side of Champlain, on the border of St. Joseph. Look out for us tomorrow. We'll be up in your area. If you have anything to ask us, come outside, talk to us. We'll be there from all morning and day, all day. Right? And tomorrow evening, we ask you guys here, if you want, join us, right here on our YouTube channel at Trinidad Humanity Campaign, right here on our Facebook page, Trinidad Humanity Campaign. Same THC time, same THC channel. We thank you for your attendance and your patience this evening. Thanks for your consideration of us. And, let's see what happens on Monday. We look out for you tomorrow. We look out for you Sunday for our last 2 public meetings. Join us, spread the word, share it, tell everybody. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. Maybe we could get some real changes this time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Have yourself a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.